Hey there, friends. It is Praying Medic, and it is time for another QAnon update. Today is Wednesday, May 23rd, and this is a Q thread I did on Twitter yesterday, the 22nd. Sorry, I did not get this up earlier. I was pretty darn tired last night, and I have a lot of emails and private messages that I have to get to, so I apologize for the lateness of this video. My theme for this video is Meet the New Q, same as the old Q. And I was so discombobulated yesterday, I forgot to put in the image on my Twitter thread. I do have a pretty nice image, I think, that I created for this. Q posts can be found on qanon.pub. If you want to get notifications on your smartphone or your electronic device, if you have using iOS operating system, you can check out Q drops, and if you have Android, you can check out Q alerts. All right, this video will hopefully put to rest a lot of the speculation about Q being compromised, being subverted by the deep state. People saying that Q is not the same Q who posted in October or November of last year when he first got on 4chan. I have heard so many rumors, so many reports, so many claims, so many people saying it's not the same Q, it's a different Q. Q's been compromised, and honestly, I've looked at the threads that Q has posted. I've looked at, from the very beginning all the way up till now, and I have seen very little evidence at all to suggest that this is a different Q. Other than, like I said in a previous video, I've seen a little bit of a little tightening of the sentence structure and a little more a cleanup of some of the grammar and spelling and things of that nature. Other than that, I haven't seen any difference in the Q that was posting the last week of October and the Q it's posting right now. Very similar style, similar content, similar subject matter, and I have never seen any reason to believe that Q has been compromised. However, Q is now giving us some proof of identity. So I threw in this link to the old Who song, Won't Get Fooled Again. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss? Yeah, well, meet the new Q, same as the old Q. So Q posted a link to this Breitbart article, which is posted before. Q says, read carefully, reread slowly and carefully. And then says, this is the article about why Jeff Sessions' use of the Utah federal prosecutor is better than having a second special counsel. Q then says, did you see the Paul Ryan interview a short time ago? When you are no longer seeking another term, you are free to make better decisions. Rapid fire, flood is coming, future proofs past. CNN in brackets, Q. There's a link to the article. You can check that out if you want. And I would imagine Q's post is a response to the well-meaning but misguided House Republicans yesterday who pushed for the appointment of a special counsel. And they've been asking for this forever because I guess they don't have faith that the DOJ can properly investigate themselves. But Q has repeatedly told us, no worries, it's all good. We've got this under control, and Sessions has the right people at the helm. So when he mentioned Paul Ryan, did we see the Paul Ryan interview? I'm guessing it's this article, an interview with CNN, where Paul Ryan came out in support of Trump's request for the DOJ Inspector General to look into politicization. And this is an article from like 5 days ago. And I think he was saying that now that Ryan is not running again for Congress, he is free to think more openly. And if he was still running for Congress, he probably would not have said that. So, moving along, one of the Anons posted a screenshot of The Last Refuge. This is for Sundance, The Last Refuge, Conservative Treehouse. Sundance goes by a lot of different names. Screenshot here. And this is an old story that The Last Refuge has been working on for, probably a year and a half. And it is about Nellie Orr, who is the wife of Bruce Orr. I believe Bruce Orr was Associate Attorney General in the National Security Division. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but he was heavily involved in this creation and dissemination of the Steele dossier. and Nellie Orr was a specialist in Russian culture and language. And so Sundance here says, sometimes conspiracy theories are not theory. Nellie Orr is the wife of DOJ Deputy Bruce Orr, and she's an employee with Fusion GPS. Why would she apply for a ham radio license a month after Fusion GPS contracted with MI6 agent Christopher Steele? So Q responded to that to avoid NSA data collection. It failed. Right. They were thinking they could use the ham radio to avoid having their communications between the U.S. and the U.K. would not be swept up by the NSA, or at least would not be so obvious. If you're interested, this is an article that, well, just one of many articles that Sundance has done on the Fusion GPS connection, Bruce and Nellie Orr, and the ham radio issue. It is good background. And by the way, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Sundance, but Sundance just did an article right up this morning about the use of the NSA database and how the operatives, the people in the deep state in DOJ, FBI, and the Obama administration, pretty much had free and unlimited access to that database. And it was only when Mike Rogers discovered what they were doing and shut it down that they had to start using human intelligence operatives, i.e. Papadopoulos, Carter Page, Manafort, etc. So Sundance did the first part of a two-part article this morning. I am going to try to get some time to do a video, those two articles, because I've been following Sundance's writing for quite a long time, and I understand that process, I think, pretty well, and I can explain it to you. I think you'll find it extremely interesting. So look for that in a future video. Moving along, one of the Anons caught the reference that Q made previously about rapid fire and the flood is coming. FBI Director Andrew McCabe sent an email to senior FBI leadership with the subject, "The flood is coming." McCabe wrote, CNN is close to going forward with the sensitive story. The trigger for them, CNN, is they know the material was discussed in the brief and presented in attachment. So this is all involves the timing of release of leaked information to some of their favorite sources, the FBI. So the Anon said rapid fire equals a movie that that name involving corrupt FBI, flood is coming, equals FBI Deputy Andrew McCabe sent an email with the subject line flood is coming, indicating CNN is going to run a sensitive story. CNN, it means CNN is targeted, but then so is McCabe for classified information to them, right? So this whole thing is really just a reference that Q is telling us. McCabe, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, they're all in deep doo-doo. And their communications are coming out in these text messages, in the information that is being given to Congress. The thing that they're asking for now are fully unredacted, and Chuck Grassley sent a letter this morning asking for fully, completely unredacted text messages because there's information that is obviously concealing some wrongdoing, and Grassley is tired of getting stonewalled on this. So as Congress keeps putting pressure on the DOJ, the information will come out. You do have to understand, though, some of this information is being presented to grand juries, and there's a reason why some of that is being redacted or is not being given up right now. So be patient, sit tight. Plan is going. And Q responded to that, saying it's happening, right? So Q is just acknowledging that, look, all this stuff is coming out. The darkness, the deception, the lies, the leaking of classified information, it's all being prosecuted. So, moving along, on November 9th, while the president was visiting Asia, Q posted this image on 4chan. File name is _AF1 5A_2.png, and you can see the metadata there. 588K and 720 by 1280. All right, this was on November 9th, and Q posted this while the president was going to Asia. The implication of this particular photograph is that Q was either with the president or had access to the president's pictures from Air Force One. That was what Q was kind of suggesting, and here's Q's trip code from then. Because there has been so much speculation that Q is a LARP, that Q is not the original Q, that Q has been compromised, that Q's board has been taken over, that Q's trip code has been hacked, Q posted a second image. Let me just show you what's going on here. So this up here in the upper left was the original image posted on 4chan in November. Here's a larger image of that. The image on the right here is a new picture, and the metadata on that is the file name _ Air Force One _ 5A _ 3 PNG. Okay, this was Air Force One 5A2. This is Air Force One 5A3. You can look at these images, you can compare them, and it looks like these images may have been taken, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds apart. They're taken very close together in timing. They're not the exact same picture. There's a little bit of subtle differences. So if Q posted this picture in November and this picture yesterday, then you have to explain, how did a fake phony Q get a hold of this picture? All right. One of the Anons made this observation: Trump Asia trip 11/3 for 11 days. Images are seconds apart. Look at the reflection. You can see the fingers. Look at the white inside the reflection. Same camera took the pics. Another Anon made this observation: Air Force One pics from the same set as the November 2017 Q trip code equals proof that Q. Same Q as always. Direct shot at Corsi and the others who have been claiming that Q is not the same Q. So Q responded here. IDEN _reconf V119 sequence attacks anticipated, coordinated. Why are they continuing? Internal attacks will intensify on all sides. Q. IDEN identity reconfirmed, going back to November 9th with a second picture in the sequence. Why? Because the attacks against Q are going to continue, and Q wanted to give us more assurance, more confidence that this Q is the same Q that was posting from the beginning. Attacks will intensify. Yes, I have been getting private messages from concerned trolls and outright trolls who are trying to get me to question the identity of Q and to get me to admit that Q is a phony. There is no way I'm going to do that. There's just too much evidence. There's just too much evidence. It's not happening. So the Anon who posted the original post said, "Now I wish I would have corrected my spelling before I posted if I knew Q would end up responding to it." Well, that sometimes happens. So Q then posted this, and it's a reminder: unity, not division. Last post was simply for identification, reconfirmation. Link to a Fox News article about the meeting that is scheduled Thursday concerning FBI, DOJ, and the Inspector General investigation into that. Who is missing from the scheduled meeting? Rod Rosenstein. Who is Ed O'Callahan? Acting. Ed, in brackets, D-class, Payne, enjoy the show. This is the link to the Fox News article that Q posted. Attending Thursday's meeting will be Devin Nunes, chair of the House Intel Committee, Gowdy, chair of House Oversight and Reform, Dan Coates, director of National Intelligence, and Ed O'Callahan, who is acting Associate Attorney General. Not attending the meeting, Kellyanne Rosenstein. What did Q tell us a couple of days ago? Rosenstein would have to recuse. So Rosenstein was at the meeting with Trump, and he will not be at the meeting on Thursday. Future proves past. Info on Mr. O'Callahan here. This is from the DOJ website. Used to be Assistant U.S. Attorney for Southern District of New York. Has a pretty big history in RICO, prosecuting racketeering, white-collar crime, that sort of thing. O'Callahan looks like a guy that we can trust. I think he's a good guy to have on the team. So in addition to the other people that we can trust, now we're going to add Mr. O'Callahan to the list of people we can trust temporarily. There are a lot of people who are assuming that because today's the 23rd, that pain in dash or minus 23 has something to do with the big news story today. I don't think that's the case. One of the Anons put this graphic together, and really it just kind of looks at the timing of some Trump tweets where he misspelled Melania's name and then corrected it, and then did some other tweets. And there's a 23-hour marker and a 23-minute marker involved in both of those. If you're interested, you can find that. It's on the board on 8chan. It's also on my Twitter timeline here. I don't think we're going to see anything big happen today. To my fellow healthcare providers, remember, assessment of pain is one of the important vital signs, so always make sure to note the pain scale. And on the 0 to 10 scale, the storm is 10. The Q team, the Anons. And look, it's not just about Q and the Anons, it's about all of us. If you're doing videos, if you are just out there telling your friends and family and sharing on social media what the president is doing and what Q is up to, you're part of the team. This is a team effort. Speaking of teamwork, I want to tell you guys about one of the 3 dreams I had, not last night, but 2 nights ago. I'll tell you about the other 2 dreams in a future video on where are the bodies buried. So in this dream I had 2 nights ago, I saw the takedown of global corruption from, I guess, what I would call a 40,000-foot view. It took many, many people working together to accomplish this monumental task. I saw not just people like Lisa Mae Crowley and Paul Ceran and Tracy Beans, who have done a lot of work on decoding Q and making it publicly known. I also saw people like Sundance, The Last Refuge, and other people like Larry Schweikert and Thomas Wichter, who don't even believe in Q. They don't follow Q. But they are all doing work that is moving forward the agenda of the president. They are helping us. They're helping people understand where this is all headed, even though they're not following Q. It's easy to overlook those people who are not posting about Q. But I think we need to include them in our prayers, and we should support them on social media and share out the things that their investigation, because it helps everyone understand the big picture. And this is, we do once in a while need to look at the big picture. I think one of the things that we make an error in is getting focused in on the minor details. I have people all the time sending me, little minor detail issues of things that they saw 2 or 3 months ago that's just been bugging them. And they really have no idea what the big picture looks like. They just have this one little thing that they're curious about. And I think having a focus, the right focus, is incredibly important. There's nothing wrong with digging into little details. We all need to dig into details from time to time. I don't think we should make little details our focus. Look at them, help, see if they can fit that into the puzzle. If it doesn't fit into the big puzzle in some way, I would let it go, at least for now. If you can't connect a little piece to the larger picture, to the big puzzle, if you can't help people understand how it's relevant to what the president is doing, I wouldn't make a big deal of it until you can connect it to the bigger piece of the puzzle that we have going. And look, if Q and his team are who we believe they are, at the end of the day, 2 years from now, after Obama and Hillary and everybody's been put in jail, and the corruption's been taken down, and the kids who are, been held hostages have been set free, everyone who has been working on this, supporting the president, we're all going to stand together. And we're all going to acknowledge those who made contributions. It's not going to be just about the people who were supporting Q or telling people about Q. Look, yes, we are going to know anywhere from 3 or 4 months ahead of time to a few days ahead of time where this is all going. Right? We knew Rosenstein was not going to be in that meeting on Thursday because Q told us Rosenstein would have to recuse. So now O'Callaghan is in there. We knew that. We knew that Rosenstein wouldn't be there. Everybody else finds out there's a different representative from the DOJ. everyone who's not following Q is just finding out that information, and now they have to scratch their heads and go, oh, gee, why isn't Rosenstein in there? I wonder what's up with Rosenstein. Well, they're finding out what we knew a couple of days later. In some cases, we knew months ago things that have just happened, and sometimes it's a little difficult to deal with people who have to figure it out on their own. They don't want Q to tell them. They can't hear what Q has to say. They have to just go and figure it out on their own. And so we'll know months ahead of time what they will find out months down the road. But look, at the end of the day, when this is all done and all these people are prosecuted and it's all over with, we're not going to be standing there with, a little division of, well, all the Q people go over here on this side and all the non-Q people go over on that side, and we'll have our little celebration party. We're all going to be standing together. Everyone is contributing. Everyone who's supporting the president, everyone who's doing research, everyone who is digging into Spygate and all the other things that are going on. We're all working toward the same goal. There's no reason why we have to fight and accuse and name call and lie about each other and cause this division. There's no need for it. Because the takedown of global corruption is the goal for many of us. And if we're all going to stand one day together, then why don't we embrace them right now? Why don't we accept them right now? Why do we have to have this division? Why do we have to have those name calling and suspicion? I think it's better for us to acknowledge right now all the people who are working toward the same goal, whether they follow Q or not. What have we gained if we manage to eradicate evil from the face of the earth, but we have not removed it from our own hearts? Unity, not division. Probably the most important message that Q is going to give us. Let's stick together. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing this on social media. Thank you for your prayers. Love you all. This is Praying Medic signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.